Oh, hello, I'm live. Cool. I am just fiddling around with making sure this is set. If you can see me, if you can hear me, please let me know in the chat. I am using Restream, so if you give permission to Restream to get your data or see your data, then I can actually see your name. If not, I'll just see you as anonymous. So that would be super helpful to make sure that I can see who is here and what you are saying. So let me just double check before I start the full live stream that things are working. Yes, okay, looks like I am live. That's awesome. And we can go. All right, let's go. So welcome to this video game and business chat live stream. I got this idea a while back from my mastermind to combine basically two things that I love. One is talking about business, and two is playing video games. So someone suggested, why don't I just combine it and do both at the same time? So I did. So if you are here, say hi to me so I know that you are here. If you have questions, let me know. How I kind of want to do this is more open-ended, so more of a kind of ask me anything. So if you do have questions on, like, you know, what's working in the online industry right now, what are the trends, you know, if you're struggling to grow, get more clients with your visibility, with your sales, pricing, I'm here to jam on this, so please don't be shy. Please give your, let Restream, give access to Restream, permission to Restream to use your name, because I see people are here, hello, but I don't see your name, so I don't know who you are. Yes, this game still exists, I love it. The only thing is that last time I played this, I'm going to have to do something a little bit embarrassing now. I'm going to have to play it on easy. Because the last time... so the reason I picked Age of Empires to do this live stream was because I know for a fact one like skirmish in Age of Empires takes me 45 minutes. So I was like, perfect. 45 minutes, I can do a live stream for 45 minutes and play that game. That's great. Except the previous time I did this, because obviously I was concentrating on the game and like answering questions and chatting with you guys, that one skirmish took me 1 hour 20 minutes to do instead of my usual 45. So I was like, let me play it on easy this time. How do you give access to Restream? It should be an option there. Oh, that's stupid. Okay, I can't type it out. I can tell it to you. This is going to be a pain. chat.restream.io/FB. Let me just put that quickly in the chat. Hopefully I'm not going to mess anything up here. There we go. Cool. That should work for you guys. If you click there, you should be allowed to, that should work to give you access, so then I can see who's like talking to me. All right, so I've put it on easy. Let's go. And yeah, what questions do you have? Is there anything that you're like thinking about in the business space right now, or with like marketing, visibility, sales, offers? Do you have too many ideas in your head?
You will save yourself a lot.
I'm just going to turn down that volume before we go any further. I think this should be better. Okay. I have some thoughts and like some things I was thinking of like kind of talking through, but you know, my goal here really is to also is to mainly talk to you guys instead of just telling you what I think about business and everything. So this is one of my favorite games. It is super chill. It's very repetitive, and that's kind of what I really like. Hold on, I need a food source. Here we go. So this is what I do most evenings. If anyone else is into gaming, like I also just downloaded Skyrim again yesterday, which is again one of my very, very favorite games. It's very like swords and magic and dragons, and I'm always like some kind of elf magic thief assassin thing. And then I have this. So I'm really into like city building games or like logistic kind of games. But what I want to talk about today a little bit, and again, open to questions, so if you have something you want to like talk about or ask me, then just pop that in the chat. So I'm also talking about things that you think are interesting. But one of the big things I wanted to share about really is results taking time. I think like we've all seen all the ads and everything, and you know, if you've been kind of in my circles for a while, you also know like I had like a lot of like I had a huge growth spurt at one point, going from like 10K a month to 50, 70, 100, and 24,000 in a month, very very quickly. So you can have those growth spurts, but you don't see like all the work that's in the back of that. So, and this was kind of like proven to me yesterday by one of my clients. Last week she came on one of my Evergreen Empire calls, just like, or maybe the week before, basically. It was like, listen, I'm exhausted, I have all these sales calls booked, they're not converting, like I'm talking to people, I don't really, damn it. Can I steal that treasure? Did I steal it? Haha. Did I steal it? I stole his treasure. So one of my clients was really like frustrated because she was like, oh, things aren't working. Like, can I just stop? Can I stop doing sales calls? This clearly isn't working. And then yesterday it was just like first sale, second sale, and fourth sale plus one considering, like with just very, very quickly. So that really made me think like staying the course. Like doing the thing and staying the course, but allowing things to happen is really important. That being said, you also need to be hyper aware of this is really difficult to do on your own. Which is why like being in a group program or mastermind or working with a strategist is really important as well. How do you know that you're doing the right thing? Because it can be very easy to say like, oh, just like Maggie said, keep doing what you're doing and you'll get there. That's not really what I'm saying. It's more about like, don't expect instant results. And for a lot of us, like if you use social media, like a lot of the instant results for us are like the likes and engagement, right? Like, oh, I put up a post and like, oh my gosh, I got like 20 likes. That must mean I'm amazing. And when that doesn't happen, you go, oh, that must be wrong. But like I know for a fact, I just started promoting. I haven't done like one-on-one for like a while. And I just opened up some spots, or 2 spots to do one-on-one with me. I know that for a fact when I put out a post that's like, here's my offer, and here's like, if we work together one-on-one, here's what it looks like, here's how much it would cost. That's like in my profile thing I posted about it yesterday. That post is not going to get a lot of engagement because it's a sales post. But that post getting engagement, getting engagement or not, doesn't actually mean doesn't mean that offer isn't good or not. So it's a bit dangerous when you're when you're relying on social media dopamine to help you decide your next steps. Does that make sense? Just have a look over here. Oh my gosh, I have like... Hi, okay, I'm not seeing the comments correctly, so now I set up my phone. So hi, people. Sandra's here, Sharon's here, Emma's here. Thank you. I'm gonna actually put up my phone over here so I can see you. The chat's not working correctly, so at least now I can have you over here. Hold on, let me see if I can put it over here. Cool. Technology is always fun, isn't it? So talk to me, like, I know there's been so much talk about like the online industry recently, like coaches and like drama and all these things. I'm not going to go down like into gossip or, whatever. But I would love to know from you, what do you think is happening right now in the online space? Because I'm hearing a lot of like fear from people. I'm having a lot of calls with people who say like, they're kind of scared, they're not sure like what to do next, which is a really, really difficult place to try and make smart, creative decisions from. So I'd love to hear from you guys, like, what do What do you think is happening in the online industry? What do you think? Where do you think like things are going? What do you think the trend is? And where do you see things? Yeah, going. I'm completely fucking this game apart, aren't I? Not even like upgraded once. I have like no wood. I have too much food. This is why I'm playing it on easy this time, because the first time playing it on like my normal level was too difficult. So for me, with like the online trends and industry and marketing in general, like I'd love to hear like what you think. I think it's when you start, you know, the analogy of like of the red car. So when you decide you want to buy a red car, you start seeing red cars everywhere. So suddenly you're like, oh, the neighbor's got a red car. There's a red car on the highway. When I would love to have a Porsche in the future, and when we went for like a test drive and then I was thinking about the Porsche a lot, I was just seeing Porsches everywhere. Like they just everywhere. So I feel like it's a little bit like that right now, that if people start thinking, oh, there's something like negative happening, or like, you know, it's harder to sell now, you're just going to start seeing all that information everywhere. And it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you start getting scared and you think, oh yeah, things aren't going well right now in the industry, everyone's complaining, if everyone knows it, it's probably not going to go that well for you, because you're going to be operating from a place of fear. But I also know that like someone I know just did like a £2 million launch 2 weeks ago. People are buying. So it's almost like, I'm not saying that like things aren't changing, and like I think they have, and I'll talk about that in a second as well. If you guys want me to kind of like share my thoughts around that. But I think the fact also is really just to think about what evidence are you consciously or subconsciously looking for? Like if you're going like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm scared and recession and this, you're going to start following all the coaches spreading drama. You're going to start like reading all the things about like what a terrible time it is to be in the online business space. So, and I think that there is like some reality to that. I'll get into that in a second. But I also think it's just like, yeah, if everyone's scared, then like no one's gonna buy because they're all scared, and then self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know. What do you think? Am I wrong? This chat. Okay, here we go. Sharon says, true, that's a good one to remember. What you think is what you will see more. Yeah, absolutely. I really agree with that. And Sandra says, for me, I've realized I need to position myself as the true go-to person, expert, and stand on my power and truly message that I'm able to help. Yes, it's such a good one. Like, it's so critical. And it's not just like from a messaging perspective. It's really from... Oh God, this chat. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. Jessica says, I just feel so much is fear-mongering, just like the media. Like, just watch one video on TikTok of someone getting laid off, and suddenly all you're seeing is people being laid off, and that starts to influence you negatively over time. So that's such a good point. That's kind of why I wanted to mention this, because I actually got caught in that cycle myself like a few months ago. I'm stressed. My camera's not really great. It was all this, like, there was like some huge drama that happened with some coach or some kind of secret offer that was a scam, which I was like, well, she literally says a secret offer and you don't know what you're getting, and people bought it, so like that's you know, whatever. And there was this whole thing about like programs being too expensive and not worth it, and like that, just if you just keep reading that shit all day long, it starts getting into your head at one point of like, you know, are you in the right space? Are you doing the right thing? What if this? What if that? Which is bullshit, you know. And I think it's really important to have a supportive space, first of all, that you can go to, like, get a reset, because when you try and build a business like in a bubble, in a vacuum, you get caught up in this bullshit. Like, you will. So I literally, like, I changed my desktop background to be like an affirmation that I really liked about resilience. And I stopped reading all that shit because I realized, like, it was actually almost like reprogramming my brain, if that makes sense. I was like, that's not how I think about things. That's not how I want to think about things. I want to think that people are in this space and in this industry for a positive reason and that they want to truly help, and not be thinking about who's a fraud and who's not, because that's not why we do this. What do you guys think? And just to go back to what Sandra said, like positioning yourself as the go-to expert. So like one, yes, absolutely, that has a lot to do with like your own beliefs and not your beliefs, like your messaging, your positioning, being really clear on here's who I help, here's how I help them, here's the transformation, here's the outcome that they're looking for. But it's also to do with your belief. Like you need to have some level of belief and confidence that what you say is true. Because if you don't believe that, you don't believe you can help, like actually believe it and embody it, you're not going to be doing the marketing, visibility, and sales activities you need to be doing to get there. Sharon says, I also feel like we focus a bit more, luckily, on strategies instead of tactics, which I love. Less selling on air and dreams, more focused on doing the actual work and to think deeper. Yeah. I love that. And I think that's just really important that you're like staying your course. That, like what I just said, like why, like what are you here to do? Like you. Jessica says you get confidence. No, don't go away. My chat keeps trying to disappear. You get confidence by doing it. Confidence is on the other side of doing the activity and getting better at it. Yes, although I also know a lot of people who are like certification chasers who deal with a lot of imposter syndrome. They're usually highly educated and they're always thinking like, oh, I'm not good enough and I need to learn more so I can like operate at the level I want. And like for me, like my goal is to have like one of the best education businesses, companies in the world. Like that's my long-term goal. I want to be seen as and be the best in the industry. Like that's my goal. I'm here for like the long haul and I'm here to create like true deep impact for as many people as I can. And that level of ambition also comes with comparison. So I think it's also really important to be like, okay, cool, I'm here. I want to be here in like however long. But what's this step first? What's this step over here? And like, let me focus on that first. I had a podcast interview yesterday, and I was sharing my story. I was like, yeah, I was like basically paying myself nothing or like $200 a month. Thankfully my husband had a good job and he was supportive. But at one point he was just like, listen, you're working your ass off and you could be earning more if you work behind a cash register. So how much longer do you want to keep doing this? Within like 2 years of that, I started making like 10, 15K a month, got booked out, as a coach and strategist. And then I burnt everything down. Story for another time. And very, very quickly I got to, that was where I had like a 50K, 70K, 124K a month, very, very quickly. But on that podcast, I was like, yeah, but this is like my year 8 or something of doing this stuff. Like if you're in a different phase, don't then look at my stuff and be like, oh, I should be better or I should be different or Maggie's doing X and Y, because it's not relevant. It doesn't matter. Like what matters is you and your next stage, not looking at me because you don't see. If you're looking at me with what I'm doing now, with like my, I just shared, like I have this program called Evergreen Empire. We just transferred to a new platform yesterday, which is super exciting. I've got a mastermind for those above 6 figures. I just opened some one-on-one slots. I'm doing an event in Nashville in June. There's a lot of stuff I'm doing, but you don't see like the years and years and years of mistakes and failures and learning to get here. So I think that's a bit of an unfair comparison then. Jessica says, oh yeah, comparison for sure. I used to think that I don't know enough. I just don't think that you really get good at something by studying it beyond a certain level. Yes. exercise. But by practicing, it's like learning about exercise versus doing the exercise every day and correcting the posture, etc. Yes, I 100% agree with that. That's kind of what I mean. Like some people end up like overstudying. I like had that conversation today actually with someone, like really, really sweet person, really good at what she does, like because we were talking about the fact like, listen, your clients will buy from me, then they come back and buy from you again. You're clearly good at what you do. I need some food. There we go. Get some birds. But you're constantly buying courses to increase your skill set at like the skill that she actually sells. That's not your problem. Like your bottleneck is sales and marketing. You're not getting enough inquiries booked. You're not converting them into enough clients, which means you're not making the money you want. Very simple, straightforward. So I think sometimes you just need like an external person to like hold that mirror up for you and be like, actually, you're trying to fix this thing, but this thing is a problem. I don't know if that's helpful for anyone to hear at all. But I thought that was an interesting conversation that I had today. And like with what Jessica said, it's really about like, yeah, cool, go. I'm not like, I don't really believe in fake it till you make it. I think you should just learn the thing and kind of don't try to be something you're not. Like if you've never had a client, and you're not making money, please don't help other people how to get clients. Like that's just not within integrity, I don't think. But then you could, I think a lot of us need to move into action much faster than we do. That a lot of people kind of get stuck in this like, oh, let me learn all the things and let me like take another course and like learn this other thing, and just you have like a Google Drive folder that's filled with drafts and ebooks you've written and PDFs you put together and ideas and plans and everything, but you're not actually doing shit really. So the fact is, the best ideas in your head don't mean anything. Like you have to take action. So the question is, what's stopping you from taking the right action to get to your goal? That's how I see it anyway. How are you guys liking like listening to this business chat while having this game that I'm basically half losing on in the background? Because this is the second time I'm doing this live. So I'm always like, this is something I should like keep doing, continue, make sure to make a regular thing. Sharon says, I'm really good at overstudying and it's not helping at all. My mind thinks that what I do is something everyone can do easily, which it is not. I'm aware of it and working on it. Yeah, absolutely. I think that like honestly, Sharon, it's so good that you recognize that, because that's the first step. And from there, you can just start seeing what are my mental blocks. Like just for you, Sharon, like what's your next goal? Like what's the goal that you're aiming for? Because that would kind of help me kind of ask some good questions around this as well. I don't get my ass kicked in the meantime. Hey, go away. And I think like a lot of us struggle with this, especially women I've seen, with taking action. And I think like taking action is a really vague thing to say, but a lot of the so when I say take action, I mean specifically, what are the things you need to be doing that will move the needle forward and make you money? Because ultimately, like you'll run a business here, you want to make money. That's the goal of what you do. Right? You want to help people, but you also want to get paid for it. Sharon, my goal at that moment is to launch my first product. Okay, cool. Small, easy to do product. Cool. So something to just think about with the product stuff is that do the money math as well. It's often a lot easier to hit a revenue goal with a higher ticket product than a lower ticket product, but selling a lower ticket product can maybe help you get more confidence first before you go higher ticket. So just something to like think about, and figure out what the right next step is for you. But then that way, if like, okay, because if your goal is like, oh, I want to make $2,000 next month, or my goal is to like launch this product and I don't care who buys it, I just want to make like one sale and that's kind of it. Why is my villager over here? Fuck's sake, and I'm... Okay, you go away. Go back to your village. I hope this is entertaining at any rate. So yeah, with Sharon, so you have to think about like what's your actual goal first, and then break it down from there. And then you can think about like, well, if my goal is, let's say 2,000 euros, right? Or my goal is to launch this product, okay, what are the steps I need to do to make that a reality? What are the steps I need to take? Because from there, you can very quickly see what are the things I am avoiding. And like, this is really, really, really tricky to do by yourself. So if you want to like DM me, we can go back and forth a bit on this if you want. Sometimes like your brain's gonna go, like that person I mentioned today, her brain just goes, oh, to get to our goal, we need to get better at our skill set. So let's go buy another course to improve and get better at the skill set. When I'm like, no, your goal literally said you want to be making like, you know, 2K a month so you don't have to go back to a full-time job. Your goal needs to be on how are you getting inquiries and how are you closing sales. That's the goal. But your brain tricks you because that feels like a good idea and it feels a lot safer and easier. So your brain's like, aha, we can do it. Like it's work and taking action, but it's not the right action. That makes sense. And Sandra says, since I don't work full-time in business yet, but I have 2 days a week that I can work with the business. I've been thinking about whether a group program would be a better option for me, even though I know you've said before the group programs are better after you fully book with one-on-one clients. Right now, I don't have the capacity to reach my income goals with one-on-one clients without burning myself up, which also makes me not walk my own talk. What are your thoughts? I would go straight to the group program. Like, I think with the group program stuff, I know we worked together, Sandra, a little bit, about a year and a half ago. My thoughts on certain things have changed as well. It's a story for another time, like my own business philosophy shifting and I don't know if that's interesting to anyone. Like, if you want to know like how I think about business and like what my philosophy is and how I think certain things should be done or should not be done, then let me know. Happy to share. Just don't know if that's interesting for people. But I think like, yeah, is it better to like get experience with one-to-one work as a new business owner before you have a group coaching program? I think so, because ultimately once you like work with enough one-to-one clients, you're going to start seeing patterns. That's why it's easier to go from, oh, I've worked with like 10, 20 one-to-one clients and now I want to change that into a group coaching program, right? Because if you work with a bunch of one-to-one clients, like one, you know what works for your marketing and sales, right? You're like, cool, this messaging works, people really want this. And then because like for a group coaching program, you need to make more sales generally than a one-to-one. So you understanding what's working for you for your marketing and sales will make your life easier. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that when you work with a bunch, oh fuck. No, now my houses aren't like in a row. Yeah, we build it. Second reason is, what's the second reason? Oh yeah, you're gonna see the patterns with your clients. So so that's why, for example, I know, oh, there's a pattern that there's a certain kind of person, normally highly educated, who always is like searching for like, what's the next certification I can do? How can I be better? A lot of imposter syndrome, a lot of like over educating themselves, not that much taking action. So they end up like being the same spot they are like a year later. How do I know this? Because I work with like a ton of clients, which means that if I wanted to now create a course or a program for that specific kind of person to help them start taking the right action and get out of like over educating themselves, it would be pretty easy to do because I know that person really well. So from a curriculum perspective, it's easier to go from like working with one-on-one clients and then shifting to a group coaching program. That being said, like what Sandra just said, I don't have the capacity to work one-to-one because I'm working like a job. Go straight to a group coaching program. Go for it. Like then it's much more, if you don't have the option around that, then I would just do it this way. And that's fine. Like, yeah, what do you guys think? And like, let me know, do you want to know more about like my philosophy of business, or and how I think certain things should like go, or is that not something interesting for you? And if so, you should like feed me some prompts right now to tell me what you want me to talk about. Okay, Jessica says yes for your philosophy. So I'm probably gonna write a post about this soon, because I've been thinking about it a lot recently. Ooh, yay, the red people are burning the yellow village, so let me go burn the red village. Haha. So, some of you know this, like 2-ish years ago, I was like a booked out coach and strategist. I was making 10, 15K a month. I was like working with really great clients, but it was just crazy. I had a team of 7 contractors. I was trying to like grow, because I had hit an income and impact ceiling. I was like, my calendar was overbooked. I did not have time to have coffee with a friend, so I could not take on more clients. Like, I was booked out. But I wanted to help more people, and I wanted to work with more people, and I wanted to make more money. It's like, cool. I don't like having a ceiling. I want to have limitless possibilities. So what do? So I try to like scale out of that with like launching courses. So for example, the micro launch method, which is part of my signature framework now, at the time I thought was going to be my main course. And like halfway through yet another launch of that, I was just like pulling my hair out, having a migraine. It was just not great. I realized I've built myself like a golden cage. It's my own fault. Sorry, I'm going to go murder some villagers. It's my own fault that I'm here. It sucks. This is like, I got here through the decisions I've made, and I don't like them. Like, I don't like where this is, and I don't have to, like, I built my own business, I'm my own boss, and I can't even have coffee with a friend when I feel like it. Like, that's just not, like, ethically okay for me with how I think things should be. So I burnt everything down. Like, literally in the middle of my launch, the thing that I've been hyping up for like 6 months, I said, hey, by the way, this is the last live run I'm doing, and I'm not going to run this course again. I'm done. Which was a risk. I stopped taking one-on-one clients. I started saying, like, at that time, like, someone was, like, wanting to pay me, like, $3K for, like, a half-day VIP day or something, and I was just like, nope. Yay. Okay, one person's down. Which one was Napoleon? Is this Napoleon? No. Frederick the Great is still in the game. So my point was, at the time, the best thing I did for my mental health and my business growth was basically burn down the business, hyper-focus, and get rid of any distraction that wasn't like 100% aligned with my goal. So that meant I stopped my podcast. I took a big step back from a Facebook group. I didn't really do any collaborations. I was just hyper-focused on, I'm going all in with one really good group coaching program. So at that time, that was called Momentum, which is now kind of morphed into Evergreen Empire. So at the time, like, it was like probably a year and a half of this just like hyper-focus. It was such a learning curve, right? Because I went from like launching and like all these things and like having a team to suddenly being solo. And I actually had like my 124K a month was actually me solo. I didn't even have an assistant at that time. Like, it was, because the model was so simple and so minimalist. In like the last like 6 to 9 months, I would say, I've like softened my approach a lot. I think at the time, did they just kill my entire fucking army? Okay. This is why I played it on easy. Hold on. I need some gold. We have gold. I need to level this thing up so I don't completely get my ass kicked here and embarrass myself. I have a 4,000 wood. This is like a worst game ever. So, my point was, at that time, the best thing I could have done for my mental health, for my focus, for my business growth, was that hyper focus of like, this is the way, this is the path. What I'm shifting a lot more now to, also probably because I feel like a lot more confident with my teaching, like, you know, I have like had so many clients with so many amazing results, and it was interesting that the more instructive I got, the better the results got, which is really interesting to see. Now I'm starting to see things a lot more like choose your own adventure. Like, I think there's like 3 phases you need to have. You need to have a lead generation phase. How are you getting in front of new people actively? And that, like, posting on Instagram is not it. How are you getting in front of a new audience actively? How are you nurturing and building authority to that audience? And 3, how are you converting that audience? So you've got your lead generation, you've got your authority and nurture, and you've got your sales and conversion. So for me, that's a fact. Every single business, no matter what you are, needs to have those 3 stages constantly. I don't know, just fine, saving, whatever. What just happened? Okay, cool. I think I was a bit dramatic and I touched a quick save button. So every business you have those 3 stages, but what you do in each stage can be different. So for example, me doing this, any guesses as to like what stage this is? Is this lead generation? Is this authority and nurture? Or is it sales and conversion? I'll name a villager after whoever guesses this correctly. I'm just kidding, I can't name villagers, but that would be fun. I will symbolically name a villager after you. Hi, Velmuth. Let me build some more houses. And I will see if anyone can guess. Velmuth, yes, alright. Velmuth, this villager is now called Velmuth. Oh, Adriana as well. Yes, hello, Adriana. Cool. Alright, we've got here. Alright, this is Velmuth and this is Adriana. So what I'm doing here very, very much ties into authority nurture. Lead generation is then me actively getting in front of new people. Will this help me get in front of new people? I mean, maybe, probably a few. Like, I'm streaming this on Twitch and streaming it on YouTube, so there is a chance that someone who doesn't know me comes across this live stream, but that chance is pretty small. And it's also not been set up to like attract new people. Sales and conversion? Not really. I mean, I talk about my offer here. I've mentioned to you, and like it's in the link, like, hey, you can DM me, you can book a call with me if you're looking at like how you can grow, what your next stage is in business and life, and figuring out like, you know, how do you get there faster with a lot less time and effort, and I can probably help you there. But when, like, the sales part will happen later on. Not right now. Like, you're not gonna, I mean, you could, but it's unlikely that someone's gonna pay me now, today, during this live stream. Because this live stream is not set up to be a conversion event. It's set up to be like, Velmuth said this, Adriana said this. If I miss people, I'm sorry, because I can't see all the comments. It's set up to be an authority nurture. It's like, hey, authority, I talk about like my business philosophy. Here's how I think things should run. I think there's 3 stages every single business needs to have, and you need to have that shit covered. But I think it's also very much a choose your own adventure thing as well now. Like, do you want to sell via sales calls or sell via DM? Do you feel more comfortable with like running a webinar or doing a challenge? Do you feel like you want to do more, you know, podcasting to get over an audience, or run ads, or, you know, outreach, or whatever like the option is for you? So that's kind of like what I'm leaning much more towards. I think I used to be like a lot more rigid with things, like oh, this is the way to, like, this is the best way to do things. Like, for example, like, hey, rule of thumb, you should be making 5K a month as a one-to-one coach or strategist or service provider before switching to a coaching program. I no longer believe that. I think there's like a lot of benefits to be like making 5K a month before you do that, but I also realized you could be booked out making like 1K a month, because it depends on how much you're charging people. So kind of depends. Does that make sense to the people? What do you think? I'd love to hear your, like, I would love to hear your thoughts. And I think that was Velmut, and I don't know where Adriana went. So we might have to rename Adriana. Maybe this is Adriana, I don't know. Name village, like, this is gonna be a great, like, prize. Like, guess Maggie's questions and get a villager named after you. Or a cow. Could also get a cow named after you. We're actually gonna go eat the cow now. So like I said, like, I think that there's certain things that, like, just work in business, like manifestation, sure, but also, yeah, you just sitting around thinking about, I want to get clients, I want to grow, is not actually going to grow your business. Like, I do just believe that that's a fact, that you have to do work and you have to put yourself out there and have to do things that are uncomfortable that you may or may not want to. Can I now upgrade my damn thing? Yes. But I also think within that there's a lot of space for you to be able to really build a business framework that ties in well to your personality. And it's very, very dangerous to follow someone else's model of success. Like, there's certain things that I think still work really well. Like, I think that one-to-one coaching and one-to-one service work is great, but I think a hybrid leveraged offer is like 10 times better. And not for everyone, and not for every service, and like, it depends. I still work like one-to-one with clients, and I have my masterminds and stuff, but you know, I think a lot of people go like, oh, I want more clients, but they don't realize, cool, then you get booked out and you're making like 5-10K a month, but you have like physically no time. You like, and if you get sick, you have like 12 calls you have to reschedule something. It's like a kind of a holy grail in the coaching industry, but it's also not all that it's cracked up to be. So for certain things, I'm like, yeah, I do think in general, having a leveraged offer that you market and is scalable and that doesn't exchange your time for money in a 1-to-1 ratio is generally better than having a fully, purely 1-to-1 coaching delivery model. That's my personal opinion, and I'm fine if someone else thinks differently. Sharon, thank you for the advice, Maggie. You're welcome. I can't think and type fast enough to reply. Lol, 2 hours later. What I realize now is that I really need to make a decision to focus on one product first. I'm working on multiple digital products at the same time. Hello, ADHD brain. But that isn't moving the needle at all. Gonna pick one product to focus on tomorrow. That's awesome. And I think just kind of like, again, to poke you a little bit in the right direction, don't just think about the product creation, because that's super fun and easy and safe. How are you gonna sell it? And Vilmut says, I've always had clients reach out to me to hire me from being active and helpful in Facebook groups. Now it's a bit quiet. I need to find other ways, it seems. Yes. Not every tactic will work all the time. And reaching out, being helpful in Facebook groups is a good strategy, and it's something that can be really useful and helpful and effective. But you also don't always have a lot of control over who you kind of come across. So that's a bit of the danger zone with that. And I'm like, I need more gold. Huh. And Jessica says, I think that the most important thing is to know who you're selling to, find the offer that works for that group, and then find a way you want to use, the way you want to use to generate leads, and don't stray away from that. Even my brain wants to. Yes. So like, I'm all for experimentation. Like this, honestly, like this video game live stream is an experiment, was an experiment, seems to have worked. Everyone liked the first one and said like, yes, let's do a second one. Like, let's do more of this. So I'm like, cool. But I also like did it in a way that I knew I wasn't attached to the results. I'm gonna go murder some villagers. I was like, I'm gonna try this. I'm not attached. I think it'll be quite fun. I think it'll be really fun. I think it expresses my personality, because that's something I kind of personally felt that I lost a bit in the last year or so. I think that I try to kind of focus too much subconsciously on being seen as an expert and being seen as like really good at what I do and being seen as this like mentor, blah, 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 blah. And that kind of made me lose a lot of the fun I used to have in business. And a lot of things just got like really clinical at one point. I was just like, how do I make things more fun again for me? And like I don't mean like the client work, because has always been fun, and that's something I really, really, really enjoy doing. Even when it's not fun, it's just very fulfilling for me. It was more about like the business in general. How do I make my day-to-day more fun? Because so much of last year and the year before was just on like growing pains around like systems and automations and taxes and corporate structure, and just, you know, I think at a certain point that just starts draining you. So that's what kind of my shift was. Jessica says, well, you can be a mentor and still be human. They're not exclusive. Exactly. So I was like, fuck it. Let me try this. Worst case, like, what's the worst case scenario? No one turns up? Okay. I'm okay with that. Like, to be very honest, what do you think we'll be doing at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday anyway? I'll be playing a video game. And that's kind of like how this whole thing started, because I was like, and I talked about this before, like, I was like, I'm turning into like a basic business coach bitch. Like, photo shoot in Paris, tick. You know, cute clothes, tick. Blonde, tick. Selfie of me holding a glass of champagne in a business class seat on an airplane, tick. I was just like, that's boring. It's not interesting. It's like, it's not really me, you know? And at the end of the day, just if you think about this more strategically, people, and we've all heard this, like, people buy from people. One of the best things that you can do is to like add elements of your personality to what you do. And like, because people want to connect with you, especially like now, because I said at the beginning, like, yes, things have changed in the online business space. Things are changing. Like, Velma kind of said this as well, like, her lead gen source isn't doing the same like it used to. Like, it's not having the same results as it used to. So she's looking, like, she has to look for new ways. How do you freshen it up? How do you keep control? And part of that, Sharon, we need the business wizard in you. Exactly! Like, I'm your business wizard. Haha. And Jessica says, if no one turns up, it's the best thing that can happen because no one saw it. Yeah, like, actually, a lot of people watched my replay last time, which I was, like, really weirded out about. I think I'm getting attacked. Ooh, that's not good. Which I thought, I was very surprised people watched the replay, because I was like, you'd want to watch this live, because I'll be talking to you and, like, streaming this. And a lot of people just, like, watched part of, like, a big chunk of this on the replay, which I thought was really, for me, that was, like, quite unexpected. I'm kind of getting my ass kicked, but I'm also okay with it. Should be okay. Cool. I was gonna say something else, but I lost my train of thought. Yeah, just kind of like looking at how can you stand out, and like, it's important to talk about like your offer, right? Like, you need to talk about, here's the thing that I can help you do, here's the thing I do for people, you know, why I'm an expert, all that jazz, all that authority building stuff. But at the same time, like, and that's kind of like was my realization, I sound like everyone else. This is not memorable, it's not interesting. I'm bored with my own content, so if I'm bored with my own content, how must like someone else who's not me reading it feel like? Like, that's not good. So what can I ship, what can I change? And like, again, with something like this, I was like very detached, just cool, let me see what happens. And people liked it, and it was great. I did one, I think 4 weeks ago. Then the week after, I did a webinar. So my goal was kind of do this weekly. And then I got super sick for 2 weeks, so I didn't do it. So now I feel good again, and I'm back. I think I'm like nearing the end of this session, because I'm about to go and slaughter the last remaining opponent. So if you have questions for me, now would be a good time to ask me that. And if you're here and you're like, ugh, crap, I like need to get my lead generation sorted. I need to figure out like what I can do differently, get more clients, and you want some guidance, then I would strongly encourage you to book a call with me. No strings attached. I'll have a conversation. What I'm doing now, I think I've changed the name already. I'm shifting it. I want to start doing like revenue roadmap sessions where I sit down with you. I look at like your pricing, your offers, your goals, and just like literally help you map out certain goals you need to be meeting and how you can get to those goals. Kind of like that 3-phase thing I just mentioned, like the lead generation, the authority and nurture, and the sales and conversion. So you can very, very quickly show you what the bottleneck is for you, and you can take that information and go and implement it, or we can talk about working together. I'm, again, fairly detached from that. I just want to make sure people are not stuck for any longer than they have to be. So there's a link somewhere in the description, I think, on looking at that, or you can also just DM me. The purple guys attack me, right? I think it's the purple guys. I have to find them. And yes, I need some more houses. I think I'm out of villagers, so I'm gonna go and get that last opponent. And it's so funny because like it takes, I'm playing this at an easier level and it takes me longer than normal. Oh, Adriana says sometimes I struggle with the middle ground, or I think nobody will show up because I'm a failure, and I will feel like millions. I'm not gonna say that number out loud. Millions of people following me like a Kardashian. I think that's like an interesting one, and I mean, it's definitely such a common struggle as well. I'm still gonna get my ass kicked here, aren't I? And I think that's a weird thing in the online space, because on one hand, you want people to see you. On the other hand, it can be really scary and intimidating. And that I think is a bit of a struggle as well, that what if no one turns up? Or, oh crap, what if people turn up? So at one point when I started like focusing on growing my Evergreen Empire program, so that's my group coaching program, or my mastermind really, for coaches, consultants, service providers who want to book more dream clients and then grow with their own group coaching program. So if you're overworked and under earning, that's the place to be. And I started getting people in, and I was just like, oh great, I'm getting people in. Oh no, I'm getting people in. Like, can I live up to my own standards? Like, is this okay? And the fact is, like, just an example, when I started the program initially, which was like, what, 2 years ago now? Almost? Under 2 years ago, year and a half. For the community element, I had a Facebook group, and I was like, oh, it's temporary, like in a few weeks we'll change to like Circle or my Mighty Networks or like somewhere else. We changed yesterday. I just saw like my Slack pop up on my phone here with my integrator saying like, oh, we've canceled like Thinkific, so we're officially transferred over to the E platform. And that took like it didn't take like 2 years, but it was just like, there's always so much stuff to do that it was getting pushed back, although that was always like part of the vision in the beginning. Or like part of my vision is to like have retreats again, you know, or have like an annual event with like prizes for my clients, you know, like that would be really, really cool. But I'm aware of that vision, so I know like where I'm going, but I'm not stuck to it right now. I don't think I'm like less than because I don't yet have like an annual event with prizes and awards for my clients. And I don't know if that makes sense for you. Like, it's just, you have to balance out. Oh, I'm done. Who is the queen of the universe? So you have to balance out like how you want to see yourself and like your vision with where you are now, and being okay with that. So this was the live stream. This was the video game and business. Maggie's building empires, and Age of Empires and video game business growth live stream. Yes, thank you, Sharon. Hope this was interesting. If you have follow-up questions, just DM me, because I'm always looking for like, what can I talk about next time? What's interesting? What's helpful for people to hear about? What should I be emailing, writing about, making videos about? that'd be helpful. And if you're like, ugh, I think I need some help, just pop me a DM, like tell me, hey, here's a challenge I'm struggling with, and let's see if I can help you. Because if I can just like brainstorm with you for like a minute over like a voice note on Messenger, then I'm happy to do that as well. So don't be afraid to reach out and let me know if I should do this again. Cool. All right. Have a good evening. Bye. I have to figure out how to close the live stream. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks, Adriana. And thank you, Sandra and Sharon. All right. Nope.